A fact that I know is going to disappoint a lot of people is Harrison Bader's not going to be Phil. So let's get into this. There's really two ways to go about this. One, and look, we haven't started a show with the Phillies in about 2 months, since a few days after they were eliminated. And so certainly the Eagles totally on the table. We're going to have all sorts of guests related to the Birds. We'll get into the injury situation, who is injured, who's not injured. A lot of interesting stuff with the Eagles, and they're certainly, as always, on the table. But let's lead with the Phils for the first time in about 2 months, because we got a pretty big announcement from Dave Dombrowski yesterday. He didn't say it this way, but he basically announced Harrison Bader ain't coming back. So, of course, the Phillies get the new outfielder. It was just 2 days ago they get Garcia. And he announced, that's Dave Dombrowski yesterday, that Justin Crawford's going to be basically a starter and use the word set to describe the outfield, which means no Harrison Bader, which means they chose a one-year guy in Adolis García instead of what is probably going to be a 2 or 3 year contract for Harrison Bader. And as soon as I heard it, the first person I thought of was Mr. John Ritchie, biggest fan of Harrison Bader. And look, we were all big Bader fans. The guy came in and played really well for 2 months and a week and got injured, and we'll never know what would have happened if he had not gotten injured. John, I turn to you and everyone today at 215-592-9494, because there's an overall off-season conversation I want to have, which involves Schwarber, which involves the pending JT, which involves the whole team, the Bohm and the Stott and what to do and blah, blah, blah. But then there's the specific outfield. And John Ritchie, no Harrison Bader. Sir, your thoughts?
I struggle with this concept. I don't like it at all. I'm trying to be positive, because it's finally, hey, Justin Crawford, wow, Justin Crawford,
we had
finally.
Waited. Yeah, we had waited, yes.
We got movement there. We got Justin Crawford in center field. But, man, I'm so disappointed, and I feel like we're going to be missing out on so much personality, so much, I don't know, the throw, the care and caution to the wind attitude sometimes over the course of all these games.
Which a lot of us felt his team needed.
Off.
Needed a different sort of
They
something.
needed his just, hey, let's not worry about it quite so much, laissez-faire attitude. And it's they'll miss him. I'll miss him. I think we'll all miss him. And sure, I'm excited for the opportunities for Justin Crawford and for Garcia. I'm hoping he has the power we are told.
He'll have power. He'll have power. The question is whether
I'm hoping he actually puts the bat on the ball enough.
They're going to get on base enough.
I'm hoping the defense is as much an improvement as we're told, as big an upgrade as we're told, because we all know that has sort of been the mark of what's made our team better. Way back when, it was a really tough decision to say bye-bye to Rhys Hoskins, but man, now it was the right decision.
Well,
and at the time, it was in large part, based on the defensive decision. We are not as good a defensive team with him on it.
Right.
So let's upgrade on that side.
And here's what I'll say about when they moved off of Rhys. Because, look, there's a lot of layers to all this, and I want to hear from you at 215-592-9494. The reality of moving off of Rhys is, I think, looking back on it, neither side of the ledger would have worked. Bringing Rhys back, he's breaking down. And so I think they were right to move on. But who they went to, which was essentially Rojas when you connect the dots, because they moved Harper to first base, they moved Schwarber permanently to DH, and they said, hey, we're giving this young, explosive, athletic Rojas, and when I say explosive, not with power, but with speed and defense, Rojas got the shot in center field, we're moving Marsh to left. That whole thing they did, the Rojas part of it didn't work. So here we are again with another moment in Phillies history where they had a decision. And they also have a wariness, and I want to be very clear here, because they spend an incredible amount of money, but they have a wariness to spend more. Like, they spend a ton, but they don't spend Dodgers. They spend a ton, but they don't spend traditional Yankees. And so this, to me, is in many ways the effect of when you go in on Trey Turner and you get a good player, very good player, but not an exceptional player. You understand what I'm saying? Because to me, when you have two $300 million players, and the Phillies have two $300 million players, not to mention and I don't know if he still is, but as of last season, the highest paid pitcher in baseball for an individual season was Zach Wheeler. He's got it's not a long contract, not an Aaron Nola contract, but it's a high contract, plus the Nola contract, plus some other guys, and now Schwarber. So when you sign up for guys like Trey Turner, or at least I know, some people might not put this together, there's an effect down the road. Because the Phillies don't spend traditional Yankee or modern-day Dodgers money. And so the effect is that they say, we're not going Bader 3 years, whatever that's going to turn into, 30 or 45 million. We're going to go with Garcia 1 year, 10 million. And then you just cross your fingers and hope that he's better than Max Kepler. And so here we go again. 215-592-9494. Let me address this.
I like
John,
Max
I
Kepler.
think you hit something important. So for about a year, people have been clamoring for Crawford. And you're going to get him. And I think it's the right decision because the reality is in order to keep this going, you need a new generation of players. And you need younger players that are cheap. And this guy's going to be cheap for a while to hit. And I don't mean hit the baseball. I mean to hit as a player. Rojas did.
Yeah.
Right. Rojas didn't hit. And so they've been scrambling for about 3 years now. And so now they turn to Crawford and Marsh in left field. One of my concerns with all this is the reliance on Marsh. I think when I peel the onion back on this outfield, because let me give you an example. Dave Dombrowski was asked about the outfield yesterday, and one of the things that really concerned me, the first name he said was Marsh. And in the last couple years, he normally be like the third name you hear. And so now Marsh is maybe supposed to be your best outfielder. I don't love that. Let's listen to Dave Dombrowski yesterday.
I guess in your mind, what makes this outfield a better or an improvement, I guess, maybe off of last year's unit, especially maybe the way you ended the season there with the combination you had for the last 2 months?
Well, I mean, it's a situation that we like the players. We think Brandon Marsh is a good player, particularly when he hasn't taken the next step versus left-handed pitching. We've talked about that. Will he do it? I'm not sure. But we do like Otto Kemp. We think when we look at ourselves that's one of the best combos in left field if you look at the two of them. Adolis, we think it helps us in right field. It gives us an improvement there. And we think Justin's going to be a good player. We'll just but again, with young players, you have to give them the opportunity. And people may say, well, this versus that, and he's not as good as this versus that. But until you put him out there, you really don't know. But we think he's going to be very good. We think he's going to be a really good player. He adds some real speed to our ball club. He makes contact. Just a lot of good things about him.
All right, so look, we'll take your reaction at 215-592-9494 on this configuration of the Phils. James, how should people feel about this outfield and what it represents within this offseason and a team trying to get a title?
Not awesome about it. Like, I think that they are in a situation where I agree with you. I think bringing up Crawford and letting him play, and he's going to have some lumps probably, but you got to do it. Like this, the way this roster is structured with all these high-priced guys heading into their mid to late 30s in these contracts, you are going to have guys come up and supplement that. It's the only way this thing could possibly work.
Totally agree.
So I'm fine with them bringing Crawford up, but I also am not sure that Justin Crawford's going to step in at 23 or whatever he is and be a quality major league player. I think it's going to take time. I don't know that he's a center fielder. The Marsh Kemp left field, sure, that's fine. I just think that if
by the way, it might not be fine.
Here's my point. Here's my point, Joe. If this is the outfield, if what Dave is saying is true, and you never know, but it seems like it is. Yeah. Then they have to do something in the infield. Like they have to go sign Alex Bregman, or this is not going to be okay.
Okay,
I'm
down with that.
I don't think they're going to. Like it's possible, but I don't think they're going to. But that's my point. Like if Adolis García and some also rans are the move, like it's going to be a problem for this team in this city. Like people are going to be furious. People aren't going to be in.
Is this a big disappointment?
Oh, it's a massive disappointment because you're basically going into another season with more questions in the outfield than answers. The same thing when you asked me last year, can this team win a World Series? I'm like, not with this outfield. Justin Crawford, we don't know if he can play center field. Probably he's a left fielder. But you've got Marsh there. Marsh is the only known quantity we know.
And he's only a partial player. I
even said there's a platoon guy.
He said he's with Otto Kemp.
I read a lot more into the bulk of Marsh's 3.5 years with the Phillies now than I do into the half year this past year when he played really well.
Not to mention the playoffs. Like, who cares what he does in the regular season at this point? We know that he's a bad playoff performer.
And here's the other thing I'll say. Dombrowski specifically said we view Marsh and Kemp as one of the, I think he said either one of the or the best combos in left field. Well, Barry Bonds wasn't a combo for what it's worth. He was just the left fielder.
Just the left fielder.
There's a lot of teams in baseball and competing teams that have a better left field situation by just having one player.
Here's a hope I have that this is public posturing.
It's
Bader.
not, Ray.
Oh, no, I know. I said
don't buy it.
I said it's my hope because Bader hasn't gotten what he's wanted, which was, I think Salisbury said 3 years, $45 million. So maybe if he takes 2 years, because you can't do that. And that was my concern with
we still
giving
got a chance,
Schwarber
you think?
that
I don't, John.
No, I just said it could be. Look, John, you and I are on the same boat here. We both want him back.
It seems like everyone has dismissed it as a possibility.
Signing
at this point.
Schwarber to that big deal is leading to other things that you can't afford certain players.
Well, that's the thing. So the Schwarber contract, the Nola contract, the Harper contract, the Turner contract,
Zach Wheeler.
Yeah. I mean, you get to a point where, again, we've gotten to a point with the Phillies a couple times in their history where there'll be a fourth or fifth payroll team, but never a first payroll team. And this is what you're met with. Yesterday was an example
This is
of that.
every year, but I don't know. It feels like monopoly money to me. Every year we're fourth or fifth.
Right. I mean, and that's excellent, but it's not. Like, you lose Bader when you're not the Yankees at 25 years ago. That's my point. If you're the Yankees at 25 years ago, then you just say, I've got Bader, and I got this guy, and I got that guy, and I'll have them all. And that's not what the Phillies do.